Oh, it looks like I'm actually live right now, eh? Can I hear myself?
Galaxy S23 Ultra disconnected.
Damn, that fan noise is super loud. Maybe I can turn this down. Oh, it looks like I'm actually live right now, eh? Now can I hear myself? Alright, well, we'll just go with that. If the sound sucks, just let me know. I'm turning this all the way off. So I had a little bit of time to kill, and a lot of people have been asking about this Dyrdek app, so I was gonna see what I could do remaking it from memory. What's up, Matt? Alright, so let's see. So what I did, I just have like this dummy Google account, brand new, and then I've got Google Sheets. So let me create a document, or we'll just create a spreadsheet since we're gonna need one anyways. We'll do it like a life tracker sheet, and based off of memory, how should I go about doing this? So last time I did it, I asked ChatGPT, I told it kind of what I wanted to do, and then I asked it for some ideas. Since I built this app before, I kind of know some things. Like I know I need to set up the Google Sheet. I know I need a bunch of categories, so define categories to track. I know I'm gonna need the spreadsheet code. I'm gonna need Google App Scripts. Let me open up Google App Scripts really fast. Trying not to show my private information, so I'm gonna hide my screen for a moment. I'll do my best not to show private info, but you never know. Okay, so we got that open. Let's re-enable the screen share. Okay, so let's see, let's kind of outline to ChatGPT like what we're doing here. So we want to pull from Google Calendar, so I'm gonna have to open up Google Calendar. So pulls entries from Google Calendar and puts them into a Google Sheet. The calendar entries will contain like key codes such as that will be used to determine what spreadsheet column or row they go into. The columns will be organized by date. All right, so I think the best place to start is building out what the sheet's gonna look like. So the first page, what is today, the 27th? So the first thing we'll do is we'll throw some days in there. I always bold and freeze the first row. And then over here, we're gonna have our categories. So we won't do the full set I did before because this is a demo and I just wanna make it kind of simple for you guys, but we can just call it, we'll do cat 1, cat 2, etc. We could do 4 categories. Oh, let's do 5. 5 is a good round number. And like what I did before is I would have like life, friends, I would have life, family, added an R, health, fitness, health, personal care. And so like I went through and labeled all of the categories I wanted to track. I had like work, ADS, that's my marketing company. I had work AI for just to differentiate time I was spending doing AI stuff at the time. What other stuff did I do? I had like life other. So, part of this is kind of figuring out what do you even want to track? Because if you're building this for yourself, then, you want to customize it to whatever you want. For the sake of this experiment, we'll just do some dummy categories. All right, so we've got our categories, we've got the days. So what it's gonna do, let me open up Google Calendar really fast. Calendar. It will not open the right calendar here. All right, there we go. We got the calendar open. Share display again. Okay, so we got the calendar. So what it's gonna do is, let's say, we woke up at 7 a.m. and for the first 3 hours we did something with category 1 and, like ate breakfast or whatever. And then after that I would go work out. So I do like cat 2, workout. And then cat 3 could be like work in the business, so work. And what I do personally is when I'm entering this stuff, I have description area, and I'll put in some details there of what I was doing, but you don't have to do that. So what this app does is it will check whenever you tell it to check. I have mine check every day at like 1 in the morning. It'll look at your calendar and it'll pull all the entries from the calendar that are labeled with a label, and then it will pop them in the associated row, based off of what today's date is. And so in the end, we'll be able to see, which time went into each category. And how Dyrdek does it is he'll break down different subcategories into main categories, and he separates it by health. I think it's health, work, and family or something like that. And so he likes to see how much time he's spending on work, his own health, and his family, and then decide what his calendar schedule is going to look like based on that. That's how he did it, and this is what enables you to do something like that. And the whole benefit of this is you're not like manually adding stuff up and putting it into spreadsheets. You just put stuff into your calendar, and then the rest happens automatically. Okay, so we're over here in ChatGPT. We're telling it what we want to do. So we want to create a Google Apps script that pulls entries from the Google Calendar, puts them into a Google Sheet. The calendar entries will contain key codes. So we're going to change these to the key codes that we used. That will be used to determine what spreadsheet row they go into. The columns will be organized by date. Okay, so let me think for a second. All right, so let's just go with it. And how I would normally do a process like this, I would say, what or how might we accomplish this? And I'll just let ChatGPT go for it. Looks like ChatGPT is not wanting to load for me. Oh no, is it gonna make me redo all that? Yeah, it's gonna make me redo it. So this is what I would normally do anyways. I'd open it up on my phone and I'd use voice to text. So we are going to create a script using Google App Scripts that connects to a Google Calendar and a Google Sheet. The script will take entries from the Google Calendar and put them into the spreadsheet or the Google Sheet using key codes put into the calendar to decide which row that it puts it in. And it's going to separate columns based on today's date. The ultimate goal of this is to create a life tracker that will allow somebody to enter all of the activities that they're spending their time on a Google Calendar, and the automation will take all those entries and put them into a Google Sheet so they can be organized and analyzed at a later date. How might we go about accomplishing this? And so I'll just ramble on about it. I'll press go, and now it's going to answer me, and then I'll be able to refresh it on my screen here so that you can see what I see. It's like writing the whole app for me right now. Okay, so this is what it says. What did it say? So it's gonna give me some step-by-step instructions, it looks like. Set up a Google Sheet and Calendar, did that. Access Google Calendar from Google App Scripts. So I'm going, once we have the script ready to go, I'm gonna have to link it to my calendar and give it permissions. Extract and format the data. Okay, identify sheet rows based on key codes. Update Google Sheet. Automate the script. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then what did it give me? I'm not a JavaScript coder. This is JavaScript, so I don't really know what this, I mean, I could kind of read this, but I don't really care what this says. So let's see. Let's give it my, let's give it my codes. So here are the codes I'm going to use. And I'll tell it which rows they're on. So this was row 2, row 3, and I just remember doing this from the last time I did this, is I ended up specifying the rows. Let's just try giving it some instructions now. So write out the script. It will start by connecting to the Google Calendar and the Google Sheet. Next, there will be a probably JSON I mean, you don't even have to use complete English when you're talking to this thing. There will be a JSON that contains the categories and rows listed above so that the script will know where to put the data. The script, we want it to check the calendar once a day. We'll just say midnight. I accidentally pressed enter, but whatever, we'll just roll with it. This isn't like a thing that you have to do perfectly. Like, you just kind of go back and forth with it and trial and error it, basically. All right, so this is showing me how I'm gonna link it to the Google Calendar, to the Google Sheet. There's my mapping. And it's putting comments in here telling me what each step does. Logic to determine the column based on the date. Format event details as needed for the sheet. Delete existing triggers. Create a new trigger for midnight. Blah, blah, blah. All right. What did I pressed enter before I meant to. So what was I gonna say next? It should check it. It should pop it in. We'll tell it to look back 3 days. I want the script to look back in time 3 days when looking for entries to pull into the sheet. All right, so we'll let it redo that. I've got Google Apps Scripts open. So Google Apps Script, if you don't know what it is, it's basically, it's a free thing. If you have a free Google account, you can use this, and it's a way to like create automations that connect all of your different Google apps together. So we'll do a new one. And we'll just delete everything that's in here because ChatGPT is going to write us a new one. We'll call this the Life Tracker app. And let's go back here, and there's going to be some code here. And if you don't know how to do any of these steps, that's okay. Like, this thing will walk you through it. So your sheet name and your calendar ID. So this is what I do oftentimes. Write me step-by-step instructions on how to implement this. In my opinion, this is like the best way to learn coding. You just build stuff, do stuff. ChatGPT will answer any question you have. It'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to do everything. And for, like, this would be considered an extremely simple project. It can help you do these things all day. It's not like you're building a video game or something. Done that. Write the script. That's what we're doing. All right, so calendar ID. Customize script. Place your sheet name with the actual name of your sheet. All right. Where do I find the sheet name and calendar ID? Okay, so the sheet name is sheet 2. Cool. And I'll just tell it. The sheet name is sheet 2. And I'll put it in parentheses just to make sure it knows that's what it is. All right, find your calendar ID. Open Google Calendar, go to Google Calendar. Find your calendar on the left side, access calendar settings. Locate the calendar ID. So that would be in here, I think. Settings and sharing. I'm just scanning, looking for something that looks like an ID. In the settings menu, scroll down to integrate calendar section. Here you'll find the calendar ID. Usually looks like an email address. group.calendar.google.com. So we'll go here. I'm like not playing with a full deck right now, so this is taking me longer than it should, but integrate calendar. What? Scroll down to integrate calendar. It looks like an email address. At. I don't see an at sign anywhere, do I? Oh, I guess the calendar ID is literally the email address. Sweet. All right. The calendar ID is this. And, you know, this might not be the most secure thing to do ever, like putting this kind of info into ChatGPT, but I'm kind of lazy sometimes, so I do this. Like if you're doing API keys and stuff like that, I think it's okay to do this when you're building something and testing, but when you're actually done, you want to change the API key from something you put inside ChatGPT, because you do not want anyone getting your API keys and whatnot. Just like I wouldn't want anybody like being able to enter shit into my calendar, which you could probably do if you watch this and I cared about this calendar. Okay, so we did that. And then I always do something like this. I say compile the code so that I can copy and paste. And I do this because then I'm not trying to like piece together the code. Oftentimes it'll give it to you piece by piece, but it'll also just compile it all so that you can copy paste it. So, all right, it's creating something for us. We're getting close to the point where we can see if it does anything. And most of the time the script doesn't work the first time. You gotta kind of go back and forth with it. Hopefully I'll be able to show you what that looks like here. So copy the code. We'll go into app scripts right here. We'll paste it. We'll save, and then we'll run, and it's gonna ask me to approve this app in my account. So we'll see what that looks like. Google has not verified this app. Since I'm making the app, I'm okay with it. You can create apps and like and let public people do it. All right, so we are in sheet 2. I always like to format my sheets in a certain way. Freeze the first column and first row. Okay, so it did a whole, let's see, I think I put stuff in for, what day did I put stuff in? Okay, so I put stuff in for Saturday. Let's just put stuff in for a couple days just so we can test some different things here. Because I told it that I wanted it to go back in time 3 days. Okay, let's see. So it said execution completed. I didn't get an error. Let's run it again. I don't know how it would be connected to this Google Sheet. Just giving it the name of that sheet 2 should not be enough. So this is the process, guys. When I run the script, nothing is inserted into the sheet. Is there some kind of identifier I need to put into the script so that it knows which Google Sheet to put the data into? So the script isn't bound, so let's try binding it. I'll just copy all this stuff. We'll go over here, and I think, where is it? You can go to here. If you click app script from inside the sheet, then it will be bound. So let's try that, see if that does anything. Give it a name, because everybody needs a name. All right, running. Oh, I gotta do this again. Man, it's getting dark, eh? Execution, still not seeing anything in here. I didn't even specify what I wanted it to show, did I? So let's see. I don't know what it's, I'll just ask it. What data are you inserting into the cells? You can talk to this thing like you talk to a person. It's pretty sweet. Okay, the script is designed to insert a formatted string representing each relevant calendar event into the cells. Okay, so I don't want it to do that, but it's not showing anything, so for each calendar that matches this function will create a string like meeting, blah, blah, blah. For now, since we're just testing this step, we'll just make it put like an X in there. Or no, we'll do like put the starting time. And then as always, compile the entire script so I can copy and paste it because I don't want to work too hard. Alright, still nothing. If you're not like an experienced coder, then debugging and logging are like what I just asked it to do is to create a log. So like each step that the script is doing, it will log what it's doing. That way down here we can see, like right now we just see execution started, execution completed, but it's not putting anything in the sheet. So we don't really know what it's doing. So hopefully it will add some logging events, so at least it will kind of give us a clue of what it's doing, if anything, because so far we can't really tell if it's doing anything at all. Come in here, paste it all again, save, and run. Okay, setting up the trigger setup complete. All it did was set up a trigger. And you know what's funny is going through it this time is it's doing things a little different than it did last time. Still nothing in here. So when I get like any kind of info, I can go back to ChatGPT, paste this in, and just say like, whoops, this is what I get. Okay, setup trigger, but it seems like you haven't run the sync calendar to sheet function directly, which is a function, blah, blah, blah. Here's what you should do. I want to be able to run the script from inside the console. Sync calendar to sheet. Where is that function? There it is, right here. So I don't know why it's not. Okay, so that did something. It found, okay, so there's the date range. It accessed the sheet. It found the date range. It found 5 events. And then there's some of my stuff that I put in. Something about a date imprints, and now the starting column, the range is too small, and that's because this doesn't go back in time far enough. So let's fix that and then run it again. Alright, so now it's doing a whole bunch more stuff. Okay, and there we go. So now we're doing something. So I asked it to put the starting time of each item in here. And you can see that it found the different categories that I put in. So on the 25th, Cat 5 testing started at 10 a.m. And then I'll go here and I'll see, okay, it put Cat 5 testing in 10 a.m. was correct, but it put it in the wrong column. Why is that? It's because I told the script that these were on these columns. And so we'll fix that. Now it's in the right spot. Okay, so the script is working. We got it to work in not too much time, and I haven't even thought about this in months. So that's pretty cool. Now we just need to tweak it to do what we actually want it to do, which I don't want it to show the starting time. I want it to show the whole duration. So if something took 1 hour, I want it to show 1 hour. If it, you know, and so on. So let's go back to ChatGPT and say, great, okay. I always like to praise ChatGPT in case robots take over the world someday. They might remember that I was nice to them. So I'll say, thank you, the script works. I want to change it. And I want it to change it so that it doesn't show me the starting time, but it shows the duration. Should we do it in minutes or hours? That depends on how you want to track your stuff. Do you want to track things in minutes? Do you want to track it in hours? When you're putting things into Google Calendar, it's usually easiest to do it in increments of 15 minutes. So we'll just specify that. So we'll do it in hours, and we'll always, you know, and it'll be like every 15 minutes will be 1/4 of an hour. So 1.5 hours, or yeah, 1.5 hours will be 1.5 hours. Duration of hours. Change the script. Sometimes it's better before you tell it to just go straight into changing things. Have it define the process it's going to follow. Write out the process you will follow to change the script to accomplish this. And that way you can kind of verify what it's doing, but a little tip on these large language models like ChatGPT is it's using all of the information that is in the chat. So all this stuff that we talked about before, it uses that as context on what to say next. And so if you get it to explain how it's going to do something, I find that a lot of times that will make it perform that activity a lot better. Okay, so let's just look over, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really going to read all of that stuff, and then I'll just say compile, you know, fix the code and compile it so I can copy paste. And take a little drink of water here while ChatGPT is working. All right, it's done with the code part. So let's copy that, delete all of this stuff, put that in, save it, and run it. Oh, we lost all of our logging. Oh, but look at, now it's doing something, and so that's cool. Now it's giving us the hours. Let's just check one. So category 3, 8 hours on the 27th. I keep opening the wrong calendar. There it is. So 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that's 8 hours on the 27th, category 3. Perfect. So it's working, but I don't like the format of these hours. That's going to make it difficult to add things up and whatnot later. So I will go back and tweak it a little bit more. That worked. I want you to change the script so that it will insert hours in this format. And then I'll give it some examples. I'll be like, I'll do 1.25, I'll do 7.75, and that should be enough. Does anybody have any questions? Because I got to roll here in a minute, but I think this is enough to get you started. And I mean, the cool thing about doing it this way is you're in control of your own script. So you have ideas later on. You're like, oh, well, what if it did this? Or what if I change my categories? Or, you know, you can go in and change it yourself, which is pretty badass. And I like all the logging, add in logging at each step. And I'll say it again, compile the entire script so I can copy paste. All right, come on, baby, let's go. Wow, look how long this thing is getting. ChatGPT was not able to do this like less than a year ago. So this is pretty cool. Cool, there's the whole script. Take this, we'll delete it all again, we'll put that in, we'll save it. Let's go in and delete this crap so we can start fresh. All right, and we'll run it. All right, look at all this stuff it's doing. So access the sheet, found the mapping, it found 5 events in the calendar, now it's just processing each one. It looks like it's still formatting them wrong. Nope, okay, so it's not formatting them wrong. All right, so now, you know, we would do like equals sum of all of these things, and we can start adding up. And one of the things that I had to troubleshoot when I did this is I had a lot of days going in that had like 23.75 hours. So it's like, why wasn't it 24 hours? There's just a little bug in the script somewhere. If you're not super familiar with spreadsheets and organizing data in there, use ChatGPT. It'll guide you through everything. You can check out the video I did before on the Rob Dyrdek stuff. I showed my spreadsheet, I showed his spreadsheet. You can make yours look like that. Yeah, I don't see any questions, so I hope this was a little bit helpful for you guys. I had fun doing it. It didn't take me very long to do this, and if I had another hour, I'd be able to like completely customize this exactly how I want it. But this is a great skill to have, so don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and just mess with this stuff. Really, your imagination's the only limit to what you can do. You can do a lot of stuff. There was a kid in my YouTube comments saying that ChatGPT wasn't very good because it wouldn't answer his homework questions for him. And man, all I say about that is if that's all you can imagine doing is doing your homework for you, I think A, you're missing the point of doing homework, and B, like if that's what you're doing, like you should just ditch the homework and go out in the real world and use ChatGPT to build some real stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope this was helpful, and catch you later.